As I always say, that x-axis is representing quantity and y-axis is representing price. This is a perfectly elastic demand curve which is parallel to which axis? X-axis. P is the price, which is denoting that price is constant. At this price, consumer can demand any quantity. The quantity demanded is equal to infinity. But if there is a slight rise in price, nothing is demanded. So this is a hypothetical case. In real life, you don't see all these situations. But in this diagram, always write the value. Here EP is equal to infinity. So this is one case, perfectly elastic demand. Second, perfectly inelastic demand. In perfectly inelastic demand also you will draw the diagram. X-axis is representing quantity and y-axis is representing price. The demand curve is parallel to y-axis. Always remember, perfectly elastic demand curve is parallel to x-axis and perfectly inelastic demand curve is parallel to y-axis. Here you will write down that this is the original price OP, price rises OP1, price falls OP0. Means if there is a rise in price or fall in price, quantity demand remains same. Means there is no change in quantity demanded even if there is a change in price. This is applicable in case of bare necessities. Means price rises or fall, we have to consume this commodity and quantity remains same. For example, a patient who is admitted in ICU, for him oxygen cylinders demand will be inelastic. Price rises or fall, the demand will remain same. Third is unitary elastic demand. Unitary elastic demand means whatever change is there in quantity demanded, whatever change is there in price, same change is there in quantity demanded. Means here you write del P, here you write del Q. Q, Q1, P, P1. Means if there is a 5% fall in commodities price, then 5% rise will be there in demand. Whatever proportionate change, means if there is a 50% change in commodities price, the same change will be there in quantity demanded. Here EP is equal to 1. In case of perfectly inelastic, EP is equal to 0. All these values, because if your diagrams are properly drawn and it is labeled properly, marks cannot be deducted. Explanation should be to the point. Okay. Fourth is relatively elastic. Relatively elastic demand. Here it is applicable in case of luxury goods. Suppose a branded shirt. Suppose color plus t-shirts are available at 10% less price, then automatically the demand for those t-shirts will rise, because those people who are interested in wearing branded t-shirts, they will certainly buy. So relatively elastic demand is applicable in case of luxury goods. Smart TVs, smartphones, these are all examples of this. Here you can see that the demand curve is relatively flatter in comparison to unitary elastic demand. This is price, x-axis is always quantity. Here you write del P, here you write del Q. In the previous example, you can see the distance. Whatever change is there in price, same change is there in quantity demanded. Whereas if you compare it with the fourth diagram, you can see that price changes this much, but change in quantity demanded is much more than that. Means if there is a 5% fall in price of color plus t-shirts, demand may rise to 8%, because people will love to buy. So it is applicable in case of luxury goods. If Apple phones are available at 5% less price, people will love to buy those phones, because it means that they are saving a reasonably good amount. So you can see the distance change in price is this, whereas change in quantity demanded is more. The fifth type is relatively inelastic demand. Relatively inelastic demand, which is applicable in case of necessity goods. So when you draw x-axis quantity, y-axis price, if you compare it with the other curves, you will see that this slope of this curve is relatively steep. This is change in price, PP1. This is change in quantity, Q1. So you can see here EP is less than 1. Whatever change is there in price, less change is there in quantity demanded. You can give example of like medicines. If medicines are becoming cheaper, people will not buy less, because some of the medicines they are consuming on the daily basis. Whereas if price of these medicines are very on the higher side, then it's not that people will consume less, because they have to consume for survival. That is also, I am saying, not applicable for all medicines, applicable for those medicines which they are consuming daily. So this is applicable in case of necessities. Drinking water. If drinking water is available at a high price, our demand will not less, because we have to consume drinking water, whatever will the price. We may cut down other expenditures, but we have to buy this water because it is important for our survival. So these are the 5 types of price elasticity. For ICSE students, it can come as a 8 marks question, and for ISC students, it can be asked as a 6 marks question. You have to label the diagrams properly, explain it in 3 or 4 lines, give one example. 2 cases are here, hypothetical or imaginary, which is perfectly elastic demand and perfectly inelastic demand. These 2 are very much relevant because this is applicable in case of luxury goods, this is relevant in case of necessity goods. And again I am saying which good is luxury for whom, it is not, you cannot decide because it is depending on the person, that what age group he belongs to, what type of income he is earning, his taste and preferences. So luxury and necessity is a relative term, it differs from person to person. So I think the concept of this is clear. Draw the diagrams, practice it, you sit with notebook and you can practice by seeing all these diagrams, do the labeling properly, you will get good marks. I hope you will like it. So thanks for watching.